This is the John Brown Alliance, where we don't fear, we fight. It is the year 2025, October 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. This is no longer the land of the free and the home of the brave, and especially the latter. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to this video, because right now, our voices are very important. We are not bought out by some company, and we don't speak on behalf of the Trump administration masking ourselves as liberal news. YouTube and other formats like it are the last bastion of free speech. And if you click on any video on YouTube, consider yourself lucky for now, because that time might not be guaranteed for you to view things like this. To Congress, I need to say something. I gotta make this. I am very disturbed at the Democrats in the House of Representatives and the Senate. And for a long time, I had told people, be patient, this is unacceptable. This whole thing about making Medicare the only thing that your constituency is asking for is preposterous, an insult to my intelligence and the intelligence of this community I live in around Joint Base Andrews. Now, let me be clear that the reason why you hold office is because we elected you. And let me also make it clear that we fund your paychecks and your health care and your raises you vote on every year for yourselves. We are not going to settle for less because you are too afraid to fight. We're not going to do that anymore. The time of capitulation is over and go along to get along. And we're trying to work out a deal. If we don't agree with that deal doesn't exist. Because at any time, we can impose a general strike and cut off all funding. 340 million Americans from your career, your endeavors, and this entire government. I find it absolutely unfathomable that at this time, the best that you can do is go back and forth with terrorists negotiating about Medicaid. As a disabled person, I have already suffered 10 years and received nothing from the government I paid taxes into, thinking that I would be secure if something happened to me. I don't have that illusion anymore. Not from you and not from Republicans. But more than that, more important than me, and more important than all these people that are sitting there saying they're afraid. And they have reason to be afraid. Well, if you're afraid, do me a huge solid and get the fuck off of this channel. Because a new wind is coming, and those who don't blow clean are going to blow away. Now, back to my point. As you sit here, Democrats, and go on CNN and MSNBC and still keep drumming this point about healthcare costs going up. What the fuck good is that going to do me? In a coffin. When I had to fight for this democracy, when you had the power to do so and did not. And yes, Nancy Pelosi and Merrick Garland, I'm talking to you. We'll throw in Chuck Schumer while we're at it, and John Fetterman. Joe Manchin 2.0. Why did I elect you? So that I had to peacefully protest while you stood around and did nothing. When Kristallnacht is upon us in a neighborhood in Chicago was rid of their residents, taken out into the streets, zip-tied, handcuffed, some of them naked, even children. What purpose do we have as regular citizens for any of you? You are not protecting us. Now let me make something clear. Every statement made in mainstream media by Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer about the only thing we're asking for is to restore Medicaid leads me to believe that my life is in danger. Because the greater problem right now is that any compromise that only includes Medicaid expansion or tax breaks or whatever the fuck they're talking about. And like I said, I need them, but that's not my major concern. Any compromise or discussion paid for by our tax dollars does not include our safety in the streets of America against the Trump regime. Let me back this up for those who do not understand how this works. A continuing resolution of any kind will fund all these operations that you see right now, where people are being slammed down in the streets just for being Latino, pulled out of their cars. I have seen videos of ICE tear gassing street corners so that they can get through traffic. I have seen reporters shot. 12 people have died in ICE custody that I know about. And just like Nazi Germany, everybody's going on with their little life as if nothing is happening, including Congress. To Republicans, make no mistake, if we are successful, we do not need permission from Democrats to hold you accountable. We will not ask that you suffer the same consequences and fate that you have inflicted on the citizens of the United States of America. This is a scenario. So back to what I was saying. At this moment, the Supreme Court and both the House of Representatives and the Senate, to the rest of us, are null and void. Aside from saving Medicaid for people who are going to eventually be killed, they stand for nothing, including Democrats. Every single day, just like the Trump administration, Democrats get on television, on CNN and MSNBC, and talk about health care, and we're going to save, Medicaid and all that. What the fuck is that going to do for you while you can't afford Christmas? Or you try and find out how you're going to pay for meat? People in my family, including me, are steady losing weight, and we have health issues, but I digress. If Medicaid is your big win, resign now, because you have no further business with the American people. Republicans in Congress have no further business with 70% of the population, while they capitulate to an authoritarian regime. And make no mistake, this government is not being run by Donald Trump. It's being run by Stephen Miller, which is why you see this ramping up by a Jew, mind you, of Hitler-esque violence in the streets. Sycophants of the Trump administration do the same, because the final solution is coming. There will be no 2026 fair election. No matter how many protests you have that are peaceful. These elections have already been gerrymandered to the hilt, voter purged, and people have been threatened into capitulating. Yes, we do need to support people who are running to save this country in 2026. However, that is not the priority right now. And you are not going to get brownie points with the American public by doing so. Right now, we have to live for the next 5 minutes. The average American in the United States is more likely to get picked up, brutalized, deported, or killed by ICE than they are by a foreign terrorist attack. Right now, here in the United States of America. I'm tired of watching these videos of people being brutalized. I'm tired of watching these videos of people being afraid. But if you are afraid and you stand and do nothing, including every single elected official in this country, you don't have a right to be here. Now, if Congress is not going to act on our behalf, then maybe you should give us some guidelines on how much physical abuse we're supposed to take by these individuals that call themselves ICE and mask their faces, have no warrants, and just snatch people up, maybe you need to give us some guidelines on what point we need to protect ourselves because we might be kidnapped. Because I'm getting reports every day of more people buying those outfits and kidnapping and raping people, especially women on the streets. You think you can do that? You think you make enough money for that? That you can at least tell us what the stopping point is. Maybe you should call up Jamie Raskin and ask him about constitutional law. Maybe we should not have made our militias part of the National Guard of certain states so that they could be deputized as Gestapo by the United States president. Maybe we should have saw that coming. In 249 years of this country being in existence, you mean to tell me motherfuckers were stupid enough to not let state militias remain state militias? And they got incorporated into the military? Are you fucking kidding me right now? That's what our forefathers did. We need to get off of these protocols and norms and sign some shit into law when we get power next time, if we get power. And the only way I think we're going to take power is not by what is prescribed right now. Now, I'll say this. For all you West Virginia rednecks that voted for Donald Trump, you need to learn your history too. And your Joe Manchin closet mole of the Republican Party. West Virginia became West Virginia because they did not agree with Virginia's position on secession. Not only that, West Virginians were broke as a motherfucker, couldn't farm their land, and could not afford to enslave black people. So they decided to fight on their own. Yet you sit here and vote for a motherfucker and his party that continues to put you in poverty. Cancel your Medicaid and make your children starve. Because those are one of the first states that's not going to have free breakfast and lunch anymore. Think about that the next time you hate somebody. Because the black and brown people you can't stand in blue states and sanctuary cities are the motherfuckers that gave you the food to put in your kids' mouths. True that. You can look that shit up. Red states that voted for these terrorists to terrorize United States citizens have always contributed less to the United States government than blue states. Blue states are the highest earning people in this country. Yet we don't get what you get. That brings me back to Congress. Your focus should not be on Medicaid in this time. Looking the way I do, and some of you look the way I do, every single day I walk out of my house, I'm in danger. But I have to choose because you neglected your responsibility to me. Whether I am going to lay my life on the line for some kid being dragged out of their house by ICE. And you can rest assured, I might not know that kid's name, but I'm going to do what you failed to. And you continue to fail. I am worthy of being called an American. Right now, you are not. And the reason why Democrats have such a low, I will call it, I don't like to do polls, but you're just right up there with Republicans right now. Because your focus is on Medicaid. Medicaid does me no good in the morgue. Now, you can negotiate with MAGA Mike Johnson all you want, but that will not stop a general strike, nor will it compel us to continue to finance a nationwide terrorist operation. Wake the fuck up. For all those who can hear my voice, take your money, save it for yourselves, and enjoy your life. Because what you are seeing right now, and what you will witness between now and October 18th, is the best you're going to get. And the end of the government shutdown, the MAGA shutdown, will be the end of your joy. And I say this because once Democrats give in and sell this Medicaid bullshit to the American public, they will sign a resolution that will finance the greatest terrorist organization in the world. And that organization is called ICE. And it will be unleashed upon every city in the United States of America, especially black ones, because that is the final solution and the absolute target, and it always has been. This is the truth. It's where we are. I have not been wrong about how things would go since 2016. I'll also tell you this. While I ask Congress how much abuse people are supposed to deal with before somebody comes to help, I will ask the American people how much abuse you're willing to deal with. At some point, someone is going to choose the United States of America and the preservation of their family, friends, and neighborhood over your need to keep us institutionalized, stupefied, shocked, and controlled. When that time happens, God save you. Right now, it's every man for himself and God save us all. Because we have no leadership. Every time the average American walks out their front door, they are at risk just because of the color of their skin to being dragged away from their families. Excuse me. What is next? is the bombing of black cities. If you don't believe me, study Nazi Germany. Donald Trump and Stephen Miller right now are taking their cues off of Gaza. That's why they continue to fund Israel and their attacks on Gaza. Any member of Congress, especially Democrats, taking AIPAC money, you're not only funding the extermination of Palestinians, but you're funding the extermination of your own people. Any American who agrees with settling solely for Medicaid to be restored and thinking that's a victory, you just fell for the okie doke. Because you're going to die waiting for the Social Security benefits that you paid in, just like I am right now. There are no benefits being paid to undocumented immigrants. So you're going to die waiting for what you paid into. While you wait, members of Congress, none of them have to worry about being doged. They don't have to worry about 100 people being fired by the Trump administration. They don't have to worry about any of that. They're going to get their check. Now, we have two choices. We can starve and pay theirs, or we can demand our check. This is the John Brown Alliance. When you see something wrong, do something right.